and cloud data store is used where the NoSQL data for application development. So it's a kind of NoSQL database. And this lecture we are going to cover introduction of the cloud data store, comparison with RDBMS, and advantage of cloud data store, and when to use cloud data store. So if you watch my previous lecture, and in previous lecture we go through the cloud spanner and how different from traditional RDBMS databases. So in this lecture we will go for cloud store, which is NoSQL database built on automatic scaling, high performance, and ease of application development. So introduction is here. Cloud data store is a schemaless. So keep in mind this is a schemaless. Okay, it does not enforce any schema on entity to have defined set of attribute. Data store is built for scale and high performance. Read and write scale manage using different approaches which allow data store to perform better with used datasets. Data store manage write at scale by automatically distributing data as necessary. Reading data as a scale is managed by allowing only those queries whose performance increase with result set, not data set. The advantage of this query whose result contain 100 entity or somewhere in the search our 100 entity or millions entities. So basically it is NoSQL databases. Typically we call HBase in open source. So comparison with RDBMS, so you will understand better when we compare with RDBMS. To understand data is better way, we will use SQL terminology to match with the data store. Data store is upgraded, so in 2021, data store is upgraded to Firestore, and moving forward, all the data store databases will upgrade to Firestore data in data store mode starting 21. When the automatic upgrade process will begin 2021, cloud will begin to connecting owners. So Google Cloud will connect with the owners and do the upgradation there. So comparison is here. First we will compare category of object, one object, individual data for an object, unique ID. So in data, typically this in traditional RDBMS, category of object we call table, in Firestore we call collection group, data store we call kind, and one object or one row typically we call in traditional database, and data store we call entity, Firestore we call documents. So Firestore we will go for in another chapter. It's a kind of the document database, and so one object here, as we said, entity, document row, and individual data for object is a property in the data store. Firestore is a field, and relational database is a column. So column here is in call is a property, and unique ID we called in RDBMS a primary key, and data store we call key. Firestore we call the document ID. So this is the comparison. I think you should know. So is easy to understand, like kind, entity, property, key. So data store does not include support the join operation. So it doesn't support join operation in inequality filtering on the multiple properties, or filtering on the database on the result as subquery. So those things is not allowed. It's like if you have the primary key or some kind of second index, you can select this type of operation degrade performance for larger result set. Keep in mind. So one key thing note is data store or Firestore can be associated only with apps in App Engine, and you need to app used to data store. So this one we are going here. Advantage of data store. So advantage of data store is atomic transaction. It means it's like updates, and you can see there is a call ACID, so it support very high ACID, highly available reads and writes, massive scalability with high performance, flexible storage and query of data. Data store has a SQL-like subquery language. Encryption is at rest, so that means data is encrypted when it's written to disk and decrypt while reading. Fully managed with no planned downtime. So this is the advantage, and now we are going for when to use. Data store is ideal for applications that rely highly available structured data at scale, you can use Datastore to store the query. Allow the following type of data: product catalogs that provide real-time inventory and product details for a retailer; user profile that deliver customized experience based on user past activity and performance; transaction based on ACID properties, for example, transferring fund from the bank account to the another. For the demo of dataset, we need to have app running. So we will have demo Datastore in upcoming lesson. If you want to have a look, then you can go to main menu of GCP and then database, then Datastore. So keep in mind in terminology: kind, table, entity, row, property, column, key, primary key. So this a relational database. This is a data. This we use here. If you see Datastore. And for the exam, if you are giving exam, whenever you see the key word like key value pair, NoSQL database, app engine or app or SQL like query language, Datastore is the way to go. So with this lesson, we will wrap up the database section. With help of choice of database, Google has created flowchart. You will look into flowchart in the next lecture. Please help to subscribe my channel. Thank you for watching.